What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So I've had Roshi since midnight today, so I streamed a couple times and I went through his moves, kind of messed around with his moves. Earlier today I also played a bunch of matches with him, so here is just a general overview from what I've looked at. They were really good and thorough in the showcase, but I also have a couple of combos here to kind of help y'all out. If you like the content I'm putting out, consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not. It does help the channel grow and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So Master Roshi is the newest addition to Dragon Ball FighterZ, the 41st character. First, I'm going to take a quick glance at his moves. So his 5L, a pretty big 5L, 6 frames, -5. His 2L is a 7 frame low. His LL is a multi-hitting move. We've seen a lot of these in the Season 3 characters so far. At any point, if they try to guard cancel that move, you will be able to cancel into a 2H. No problem. The third hit of his auto combo is -5 move as well. This actually vacuums out of the corner, so you can use it for a couple of cute setups. He has a sliding 2M, which is nice, mostly for pressure so that you can stay in their face, especially if they try to reflect you. His 5M is pretty standard. It does advance as well. Now, one thing about him, I don't know if they just did it because he's old, or is it just that he has a lot of tools, so they wanted to do a little something to maybe keep him down a little bit. But both his 5M and his 2M, and I did them backwards, but it's okay, they're both -8 and -10. So the 5M is -8, the 2M is -10. What this means is that he can't stagger very well with them. Of course, all his jabs are all safe, which is fine, but you can't stagger very easily using mediums. Now his 5H is 17 frames. The main thing that you need to know about this is that it does not jail from normals, so just keep that in mind when you're using it. The 2H does though, and it's 13 frames. It's a standard 2H, it boosts backwards, it's grounded, so he gets all his ground special cancel options. For his Ki Blast, he has this 5S. It's like Gohan's, but as you can see, it hits crouching. It does not hit full screen, it hits almost full screen. It does have also special blocks on it as well. So you can see there, it jailed into Kamehameha, which means you could cancel into Vanish like that. He does have a few special options as well. So for instance, to start with his 2S. So this actually kind of makes up for the fact that his M normals are not safe. So in general, if the opponent tries to challenge or something, it'll be pretty hard for them to hit you. They definitely can't Super Dash at you. Here I'm gonna have Gotenk Super Dash. Of course, you're moving backwards, so that helps, and the 2S is cancelable into stuff on the ground, so you cancel the H normals and special moves. So he has a 6S as well. It has a nice anti-air angle here that hits jumps, and you can actually call it back by pressing 6S again. This definitely helps him control the air with a relatively low commit, which I think is pretty strong. Now he also has this 3H, so this is also an anti-air. What this does is that it kind of makes him into like adult Gohan, so if they try to like go over you or something, you can use 1H. If you mash 1H, you'll get the 2H like that. But if you let them go over you, you'll get the 3H instead. It's not a launcher straight up, so you can jump cancel it into a combo. And then he also has 6H. So this move is not very fast. It's 37 frames. But the cross up happens. The way it works is like he stands here, he doesn't make a sound, and then on frame 31 he starts going behind you. Most moves that freeze the screen like that have a pretty dramatic and obvious freeze, but his does not. So you can definitely catch people with this, especially if you're trying to get them to land into it with after they use all their air options. Air normals, he has a pretty standard set of air normals. His JL, like many other characters, hits Super Dash without much effort. His JM is this, it's kind of slow. His JH is this. Now, he does have an additional 3 air normals on top of this though. There's this J2M, which we'll talk about a little bit later, J2H, which we'll also talk about a little bit later, and this J4M cross-up thing. This is pretty unique because they have taken basically almost all cross-up normals out of the game. There's very few examples of normals that actually hit behind from the air. For the most part, if you're getting hit from behind by something like this, or something like Gotenks here, it's almost always because you press the button so it makes you bigger. If you don't press a button, then it will not hit behind. The only character I can think of offhand that has a move that literally hits behind like that is Android 21 Jump Heavy. So this is a pretty unusual move to have in this game. So special moves. So let's start with the 236 series. So he has it like Ultra Instinct Goku. He goes right through you. It is -5. It does jail unlike Ultra Instinct Goku's. So even though it's not -2, it's -5, so it's still safe. You could do a block string into it. As long as it touches, you'll go through them. Even in the corner, and even the air versions, you'll go through them. Next is his 214 series, and this is actually a pretty interesting move. It's a guard point. The only difference I see right now between the light and medium versions is that one adds a smash and the other does not. The medium version, if you hit, you get a smash with a bounce. The light version does not. Besides that, they're basically the same move. Same startup. They're both -5. Now, the one to watch out for is this EX1 though. So the EX1 is frame 1 guard point, but why this matters is how guard points work. And I do remember people asking in comments when we got the first look at Roshi, why does guard point matter and what does it do? So I have a Gotenks recording here. It's going to be him doing a knockdown. And first I'm going to do Roshi's level 3. So it's just invincible, right? So if you safe jump properly, your attack will go through him because he's invincible and you will block. But against the guard point, especially since it's frame 1, if you don't do your super jump the right way, he will actually be able to hit you because he'll catch you. The game treats it as if he's blocking even though you're touching him there. So he does have 236S, it's just beam, standard beam. It's a little bit skinnier than other characters. It is one hit. And then he has this. So he has the 214S. Bandai Namco usually call these air unblockables, but it's not really unblockable. It's basically a command grab. So if you jump into it, of course you're gonna get smoked. But if you air dash back, you can avoid it. There are 2 angles. So you have like the normal one, and you have the 214 and 2, and he will aim it higher vertically. So when they're floating above you or you run under them, you might want to try using this, especially when they're backs to the wall. And then he has a 22S. So this is a command grab. It's not particularly fast, but a lot of people say that it looks similar to his auto combo. And you gotta remember too that this is cancelable on every hit, so you can definitely sneak it in. They stagger here, and you could follow up with a combo, kind of like UI. You can sneak in a setup if you want, if you have like the right type of assist, or you could just do a combo. So next, let's look at his super dash. So his ground super dash, he doesn't have one. He actually has this master leap. So there are 5 inputs for super dash. This is 5, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, and this is 1. Most notable is that his 5-1 has like some landing recovery. None of the others really have notable landing recovery like that. They also made it so that you can't easily air dash out of the 5 and 4 ones, but out of all the down ones, so 1, 2, and 3, it's quite easy to do. So you might be like, how do you use this? Because super dash just gets me over there. Well, the really big reward he gets for using it is that he straight up goes through Ki Blast. He does not graze, so the opponent can't cancel into 2H or something. He also has super dash in the air. Well, he has 6 directions here. So he has, this is the 5-1, he has 7, and then 8 and 9 gives you the same input, and then 1, 2, and 3 give you the same input. So this is the same as this. The big thing here is that the projectile is an actual beam that jails into vanish. Also, if you touch them with the front, you don't bounce off. It's like a sparking dash all the time since you have to aim it. Now, it is tricky to use because it doesn't go straight to the opponent, but since it has a hitbox on it as well, you can try to actually snipe your opponent with just the beam part of it and use that to get in. Now let's take a quick look at his assists. So his A assist is Kamehameha. What's nice about it though is that it has a ton of hit stop and it has a wall bounce, so it has a really good function as a defensive assist. It's really similar to Tien's Dodon Ray, except it sends them flying instead of popping them up. The one you're going to see a ton of though is this B assist. It's his 214. As you can see, it's plus 46 and it's 25 frames. And the biggest thing about it is that it has a guard point on it. This has a ton of implications for how it's used. So at a glance, the obvious thing is that they can't mash right away. So yeah, you can't mash super dash assist anyway in general, but there will be spots where you might not call it in time, but there it'll catch. Of course, going over them is another one. They can't mash under you. If they touch him, they will get caught by the guard point. So it has the same guard point property starting from frame 15. So basically when you can't see it. Again, it is plus 46, so you have a ton of time to set up offense for a ton of characters in the game. And also, the devs kind of foresaw that it might be hard to combo up this in some random situations sometimes. So what they did is that no matter what, the 2 hits will always connect into each other. So here's it when it hits high. Now here's an example of it hitting normally. See how it's like a little bit faster? So no matter what, if you're really high, he'll drag you into the second hit. And if you're like on the ground, he just hits you normally. Now, oddly enough, they did give him a block string assist for his C assist as well. So he has 2. The main difference between this and the B1 is that 1, it goes full screen, and 2, there's no guard point and it's slower. Here is the mid-screen B&B that I learned. It basically carries from mid-screen to corner no matter what. So I'm going to do it from here just to show how far it goes. And here's an example of the corner combo. So next, a couple of movement tips for you. So he is also unique in that you might notice his jump is a little bit floaty compared to other characters, but he can't super jump, float, or fast fall. So it's kind of hard to adjust your movement. So where another character would be able to drift here, he cannot do it. Like I see Broly can drift back and forth like this, but he can't. But he does have a lot of moves that maneuver him in the air. So he does have 2S in the air. He does have the J2H we talked about before. It's kind of like Beerus's. It sends him flying. He has a dive kick as well. And he has this horizontal movement as well. So you can change up his movement combined with his air super dash, and he's kind of tricky to catch. They can't necessarily go right after you because if you 2S and their super dash will take more time to come at you, and you can maybe anti-air them. If you do this and they super dash at you, that has a beams hitbox, so you'll be able to hit them. And now last super, so this is his evil containment wave. This forces a snap, but the snap is variable timing, but you lock them out of their assist for a little bit, so that's fine. If you're going to kill the character, you seal them in the jar, you deal a little bit more damage. It's like the base Goku Kaioken. He also has a level 1, so what some people call level 2, but it gives your team 4 level 1s nice and easy. It's also his DHC super. He has a full screen level 3, so you can use this against people who are committing to beams and things like that from full screen. He has a lot of advantage to work with, but people haven't really found setups with it. So that's a pretty basic overview of the character. There are a couple of things I didn't really talk about because they haven't been fleshed out yet. I don't want to totally be like, oh, this is what this is for, when we don't really totally know what it's used for yet. I want to keep on making content about Roshi because I'm very, very, very heavily considering playing him. I played him a bunch of matches today, as I said before, so expect more from me about him in the coming weeks. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.